Well, good morning. Welcome to our Sunday Satsang. We're broadcasting out of Bangalore. So let's begin our morning meditation with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, the Hari Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, beloved Swamiji, we bow to again and again. Divine Mother, bless this morning's meditation. Fill us with your joy, your love. We want to share these many blessings that you give to us with all souls everywhere. Come to us, awaken us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now we'll have some chanting and meditation. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Now let Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo mokshiyam amritat swaha. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityo mokshiyam amritat swaha. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityo mokshiyam amritat swaha. Om Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityo mokshiyam amritat swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. We'll now have our chanting and meditation. Let's begin our Sunday Satsang with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, Saints of all religions, we humbly bow to you all. Divine Mother, Blessed Swamiji, come to us now, reveal thyself, open our hearts, open our minds to thy steady flow of grace. We yearn for thee. Chant through us, meditate through us, serve through us, awaken us, and bring us freedom in this very life. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Ram Shri Radhe Govinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Ram Shri Radhe Govinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Ram Shri Radhe Govinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Ram Shri Radhe Govinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna Hare Ram Shri Radhe Govinda Shri Yogananda Guide to inner freedom Steal into my heart of hearts Vanish my delusion Shri Yogananda Guide to inner freedom Steal into my heart of hearts Vanish my delusion Shri Yogananda Guide to inner freedom Steal into my heart of hearts Vanish my delusion I am the Babu, make me the sea. Lord, I am the Babu, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Oh, I am the Babu. Will make me the sea, Lord, I am the Babu, will make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Oh, I am the Babu, will make me the sea. Lord, I am the Babu, will make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Oh, I am the ball. Oh, make me the sea. Lord, I am the ball. Oh, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord. So do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart, thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Oh, I am the bow, oh make me the sea. Lord, I am the bow, oh make me the sea. I am the bow, oh make me the sea. Lord, I am the bow, oh make me the
Today, the affirmation from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda is on energy. Energy is ours, not when we hoard our strength, but when we devote it willingly, joyously toward the attainment of that in which we deeply believe. Faith and energy go hand in hand. If you have deep faith in what you are doing, you can move mountains. Energy is always highest when one's cause is just. The greater one's faith, the greater his willpower, and the greater his willpower, the greater his flow of energy. Please affirm with me, with concentration at the point between the eyebrows, with a lot of energy. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. A little more quietly with deep concentration. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. And now in a whisper, within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. And now, at the point between the eyebrows, taking it into the superconscious. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. Within me lies the energy to accomplish all that I will to do. Behind my every act is God's infinite power. And now pray silently with me. O cosmic energy, vitalize all the cells of my body. Recharge my mind with boundless inspiration and fill my soul with thy inexhaustible joy. Om Shanti.
Good morning to everyone and happy Independence Day. Let's begin reading from Yogananda's Whispers from Eternity, entitled, May the Niagara of my joys inundate all hearts. May the Niagara Falls of my heart's joy pour unceasingly upon all I meet. May that flooding power drown their difficulties, that their melancholia then be calmed to contentment by moonbeams of my bliss. Oh, I will be a tornado of laughter, lifting up and destroying superstructures of sorrow, sweeping over endless miles of suffering egos. I will churn up and blow away the troubles from all hearts. In lightning flashes of my mirth, I will swiftly expose to view the panorama of thy beauty, so long obscured in the nocturnal darkness of unseeing, uncaring minds. Bless me, that by a single shaft of my light, the gathering gloom of ages, nurtured in the dark corners of human minds, be put to flight. Through thy grace, even one sudden flash of wisdom will dispel the accumulations of dark air, though it lasted countless millions of years. And from the autobiography of a yogi, and this is drawn from the chapter with Mahatma Gandhi in Wardha. Welcome to Wardha, Mahadev Desai, secretary to Mahatma Gandhi, greeted Mr. Belch, Mr. Wright, and myself with these cordial words and the gift of homespun cotton. A little group had just dismounted at the Wardha station on an early morning in August, glad to leave the dust and heat of the train. Consigning our luggage to a bullock cart, we entered an open motor car with Mr. Desai and his companions. A short drive over the muddy country roads brought us to the ashram of India's political saint. Mr. Desai led us at once to the writing room where, cross-legged, sat Mahatma Gandhi, pen in one hand and a scrap of paper in the other, and on his vast, winning, on his face, a vast, winning, warm-hearted smile. Welcome, he scribbled in Hindi. It was a Monday, his weekly day of silence. Though this was our first meeting, we beamed on each other affectionately. In 1925, Mahatma Gandhi had honored the Ranchi school by a visit and had inscribed in its guest book a gracious tribute. The tiny 100-pound saint radiated physical, mental, and spiritual health. His soft brown eyes shone with intelligence, sincerity, and discrimination. This statesman has matched wits and emerged the victor in 1,000 legal, social, and political battles. No other leader in the world has attained the secure niche in the hearts of his people that Gandhi occupies for India's unlettered millions. Their spontaneous tribute is his famous title, Mahatma, Great Soul. In the early 50s, Yogananda was given a beautiful piece of property which he called the showcase of his work, Lake Shrine, located in Southern California, very, very close to the Pacific Ocean. And Swami Kriyananda was there at the dedication of Lake Shrine, and there was Mahatma Gandhi's, a portion of his ashes in this beautiful sarcophagus by the lake. And as Yogananda said, at one point he immersed himself in the lake and he said, "This is holy water now." And over the years, thousands of people have come as they come to the Indian shrines to bathe in the vibration of peace that is felt there. And it's very, very powerful. Well, Mahatma Gandhi, without question, was destined to play this extraordinary role. And in reading his autobiography of a yogi, which is very inspiring and so sweet and practical, so many things can be said about it. And it chronicles his journey to England, where he was, a bit for good reason, insecure as an Indian, trying to settle into a new culture, the daunting task of becoming a lawyer, which he did, and then his travels to South Africa, where he became very prominent and wealthy, and was able to create, really there in South Africa, a revolution, which really was his introduction to the great battles that lay ahead of him here in India. Decades of enormous effort by him by his followers, by the many, many millions, to dispel the English. And as Yogananda said, in time, India and America would lead the world. America with its efficiency, industrial efficiency, and India with its spiritual efficiency. Both it's needed in order to strike the very important balance, which of course is very lacking in this world today. And he said, even more astonishing, that it is God's plan that Indians are born in America, and they assume that American body, and they are there again to help spiritualize that country. Americans are here in India to draw from the blessings here. And so it is God's plan that these two great countries in time will lead the world. Right now, it's not an easy thing to picture. But these great ones, they know. They are able to basically tear the veil of distance, time and distance, and they see. And they're able to share, as they do from time to time, future events. And so there's a very, very glorious future for both India and America. And Gandhi's influence, of course, to this day, has been very, very powerful and very magnetic. Martin Luther King, who played a very, very important role in the West during the Civil Rights Movement, he drew his inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi's principles of nonviolence. And so it was with Mandela in South Africa. And what a great lesson. They taught the world that in order to find some way to make a lasting change, it doesn't have to be done only through violence. It can be done extraordinarily, miraculously through nonviolence, but you have to be persistent. And you have to be willing to put out the kind of energy as Mahatma Gandhi did. For 30 years, that's a long time to struggle for independence. And there was tremendous resistance because, of course, India was the crown jewel of England. And at that time, it ruled over a vast, vast lands throughout the world. But India was the crown jewel. And so there was no way that they were going to give India its freedom without a struggle that lasted decades. And the way that Gandhi worked on battling England for India's independence was ingenious. They never knew what he was going to do. When you read his writings, his newsletters, one page is some deep philosophy, and another page is a recipe. He was very free in himself, and he was so spontaneous. People did not know from one moment to the next what he was going to do, and this was very difficult for England, which tended to be very much mind-born, very much in their intellects. And so how could they perceive, the statesman there, that he was working on intuition, in many instances pure intuition, to gain independence for this great country, India, the mother of the world. As I was sharing with friends, I said, over the years, I have never heard people saying Mother America or Mother France. Perhaps they do, I haven't heard it. But you hear all the time Mother India, because India is the land of devotion, the land of heart, the land of the saints. Years ago, Roma and I went to Mount Vernon, the home of the first president of the United States, George Washington. And I remember seeing in one of the magazines that Yogananda produced, Self-Realization magazine, it was called, there in the States, that Yogananda was pictured there putting a wreath on George Washington's grave. And when we went, I didn't know what to think about the estate itself, a very vast estate on the east coast of America. And I sat in one of the chairs overlooking the Potomac River, beautiful scenery there. And in no time at all, I found myself going into a state of meditation. These great souls that have the destiny for George Washington to free the country. And isn't it interesting that here we are celebrating India's independence, August 15th, just a month prior was America's independence, July 4th, both from the British, and both achieved after enormous effort. And so what can we gain from these lessons? Well, for us as yogis and yoginis with an inner life, then we begin to see that Divine Mother in her own way, and in some ways in very dramatic fashion, she gives us examples, tangible examples, that of Gandhi and George Washington and many, many others, great souls that have been willing in some instances, as Gandhi was, to sacrifice their lives. He was martyred for the cause, in order to remind us that yes, it's important in this world to do our seva in our own ways, in little ways, in great ways, whatever it happens to be. But really, it's only to point us within. And those that understand this important lesson then can gain from these rare souls that come to this world to really make a great, great difference. You know, Yogananda was asked by one of his disciples in the early years to lead a revolution, a violent revolution against England. But he said, no, that's not my place. India will be free by peaceful means. And that prediction came true. And so for us, in celebrating during this auspicious time, India's independence, it's also important that we remember again why we have come to this earth. What is our purpose? Our purpose too is to become independent. Roma this morning shared with me that Vijay Lata was sharing with the kids in her own gifted way about independence and asking them, you know, what it was to them to be free and to be independent. And they were saying, well, you know, I really appreciate, you know, being free and being independent, that I can go out to play and I can go and get ice cream. But she said, yes, but let's go deeper than that. And so it is for us in this world. There's different levels of freedom. We know that. Freedom that we feel. I remember when I graduated high school, literally, I jumped off the ground with my cap and gown and with my diploma. I was so happy at that moment in time. And we've experienced these things, of course, many of us in our own lives and in the lives of others, that there are these times where we feel independent, we feel free, we've achieved a success, and our heart swells with gratitude. But it is meant to point us to the inner life. And as we open ourselves up through meditation, especially as Swamiji said, I don't know how people can even live without meditation. Why would that be? Because meditation really opens the door to reality and gives us, excuse me, a few moments, minutes, hours or more to experience true reality. The reality of the bliss of our own soul. The fruit of meditation is bliss. And so we find that we can be examples in this world of true independence more and more. As Swamiji was sharing with us in one of his videos, we are all gods. He was emphasizing that point very strongly, and he emphasized it a number of times, and we need to remember that. He just said that we're sleeping gods, but that doesn't take away, excuse me, from the fact that we are all gods, as Jesus too said to the Pharisees. Doesn't it say in your own scriptures, ye too are gods? And so, excuse me, some kind of a frog in my throat. And so, as we are doing what we can as karma yogis, because that too is a very, very important path, to be a karma yogi, to strive for independence by serving, a very powerful path. And of course, that's this path, the path of Yogananda, of Swamiji, of our line of gurus, to balance out our seva in meditation, which is true, the seva too. As Yogananda said, meditation is the most refined and exalted of all activities. So we want to have that right spirit, that right attitude where we are gaining independence, but we're sharing that independence through lifting people's consciousness as we can. And in our day-to-day seva, whatever it might be, whether at home or at work, whatever it is, we need to remember too, that we are serving in this way, not just to keep the lights on and the food on the table and the many things that are needed, but we're doing this to spread vibration, to spread peace. Swamiji from time to time would share this particular survey that was done by the TM people. I believe they went to Rhode Island, and they went there in mass, hundreds, perhaps thousands of people. And they, because it's their practice, they began meditating. And they found that in a year, the results were very dramatic, because what are we doing in meditation but sharing consciousness? And the crime rate went down. And there were other statistics that were very, very interesting, that were just basically undeniable. Here this group came in, and from their hearts, they dived deep into spirit, into their own souls, and they were able, through spreading this consciousness of peace, to bit by bit influence that particular locale. And so Mahatma Gandhi and George Washington and the other great souls, not to mention the great saints of this world from the past and the present, they have come in order to stir us to wakefulness. That is their job. Really, they are a force of nature. We hear that term from time to time, but they're the true forces of nature that come to electrify this world and to electrify any individuals that are in tune. As Yogananda said, you need to be in tune. That's what's important, attunement. It's everything. And what are we attuning ourselves to? We're attuning ourselves to that great cosmic current, the current of light and joy. Many people have attuned themselves to the other current, because of course this experience on this plane is an experience of duality. And by experiencing through music that just drops their consciousness, whatever it might be, then they're getting attuned, but they're not getting attuned to anything that's going to help them. Their heart will shut down. Their mind will get clouded, and they'll wonder what's going on, because they don't realize that environment is stronger than willpower, as Yogananda pointed out. And our inner environment is so very, very important to keep pure and to strive for that purity. So here on Independence Day, we want to rejoice because it's not a simple task to lead a nation as Mahatma Gandhi did. My goodness, what an extraordinary effort he put out. And yet, when you see videos of him, perhaps during the Salt March, whatever it might be, his face is radiant. And all these great, great social workers, these great saints, they have this radiant face. Why? Because they're in tune. And especially they're doing what they're supposed to do at the time, irregardless of sacrifice. Mahatma Gandhi in South Africa, again, as I said, became a wealthy man. And it was not easy for his wife and family to forsake this wealth and to think only of the great campaign that they faced, Bring India. And that they did, by God's grace, truly. But God needs instruments, as we like to say from time to time. God has an employment problem. He's always looking around for anybody to do anything, anything. Plant a plant, take a child to the park, meditate, anything, because most of the people in this world are, as Yogananda said when he tried to start his first World Brotherhood colony in Encinitas, California, he wasn't able to, and that was very disheartening for him because he said the consciousness was us four and no more. And yet, through meditation and through seva and through right attitude and so many things, we find that we can do our duties with our family, whatever it might be, and at the same time have lots of energy, in many instances surplus energy, abundant energy to give to this world through prayer and through many, many means. And that result of being an instrument in this way is greater and greater joy. So happy Independence Day for you all, for all of us, as oftentimes we say, you know, if you were to peel away the skin of Roland, myself, and others serving here in India, you would find an Indian soul. And it's true, because this incredible country, with its enormous magnetism, has given all of us, as we well know, whether we were born here or we had the great good fortune to come and spend some time in this holy country. This place, there's no other place like India. As Yogananda said when he was walking with the great saint who was a fully liberated soul, Yogi Ramya, a disciple of Ramana Maharshi. When they were walking hand in hand, Yogananda said, if I had spent one more half an hour in his company, I couldn't have possibly left India. And so, God bless you all, and we'll now have our Aarti. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Okay, we're going to have one song before we do the closing blessing.
Brave were the people who lived in these hills. Brave the great warriors who confronted the foe to defend what is holy, to defend what is true. Our Lord on mankind did this duty bestow. Glad all our children who people these hills, glad in the vision their hearts understand. What became of past struggles, now the records are still, but courage still lingers, giving strength to the land. Men hunger for riches, for power and for fame. By favor they think they would grow. The battles they fight, the victories they win, are never the victories they know.
Now we'd like to close with a blessing. And as you receive this blessing, offer a prayer of gratitude to the infinite Christ, in whose love our line of masters have descended, that we might all come to God. Pray too for the grace to share with all as you have received, for you are part of all that is. May the light of the great masters shine upon you. Oh. 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 Shanti, shanti. Go out with joy.